Hi guys, today is Friday and I made my Parmesan and herb pork cutlets. I have this recipe recorded and I will link it below. They're really good and super easy and quick to make. I have these garlic and rosemary fingerling potatoes. I showed how to make these a couple weeks ago in my What's for Dinner video. And then this is just leftover bread from Panera. We get it at our church sometimes. So I just popped it in the oven for my guys. And then I roasted some broccoli with garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper. If you're kind of tired of steamed broccoli, roasting it is really good. Today is Sunday and it's Mother's Day, and our tradition is to go out for Middle Eastern food on Mother's Day. So this here is some hummus. And we also got some pickled cabbage, and those are my cucumbers that I eat with the hummus. This is John's lentil soup. And then we have my Greek salad, which was really delicious. And this here is a fattoush salad, which I love, but it has bread in it that I can't have. This is my shish tawuk. I just got everything that was normally in the sandwich, just on the plate without the bread. And this is John's huge meal. It is a bunch of lamb, rice, and then my guys sometimes get the lamb shawarma. So that was Josh's lamb shawarma. Today is Monday and I made refried black bean tacos, and they have a little bit of cheddar cheese, and then we are having some tortilla chips and salsa. Today is Tuesday and I made turkey bacon pizzas, and I'm going to show you how to make these. I thought I would show you really quickly how I make pizza crust in my bread machine. I'm going to make regular pizza crust for my guys, and then I'm using this to make a gluten-free crust. I've never tried it before. I liked another brand and I couldn't find it at any of the stores around here, and I couldn't find any xanthan gum. Probably if I went to a a health food store or something, I could find one, but I don't know where one is in my neighborhood yet, and I just wanted pizza crust. So I'm going to try this and I'll let you know how it is, but I guess it's Cup for Cup brand. Anyway, for making the pizza crust in the bread machine, it's so easy. I have the recipe memorized. It makes really good crust, and I've been doing the same recipe for years. So what I usually do is 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of water. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. To that, I'm going to add 3 cups of flour. A lot of times I do bread flour, but I don't have any, and I think it's fine to use all-purpose flour. I've done that plenty of times as well. To that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. And now I need to add my yeast, but I usually make sure all of the water is covered, so any water that's around the edges, I just make sure it's covered so that the yeast doesn't get wet too early in the process. Then I'm going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And now I just pop it in my bread machine, and I just use the dough setting. This is so easy. And you could even make this ahead of time and just keep it in your refrigerator, or you can even freeze it if you happen to get home and you don't have time to make dough. It could be a really easy dinner for you if you just do this, at night when you're home for the next day or something like that, or on the weekends or whatever. So I just chose the dough setting and I just let it do its work, and I can work on the rest of the pizza stuff. My pizza crust has a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and put the bacon in the oven. If you're not familiar, bacon is really easy to make in the oven. Usually I put it in a cold oven and then turn the oven on once I put the bacon in, and I usually put the oven at 375, and it takes close to like 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. Okay, my pizza dough is all set, so I'm going to start dividing that. Okay, I sprayed these 9-inch cake pans with a little bit of olive oil, and I divided the dough. I usually do 4. My guys are going to have these, but they can each have their own, and then there's one extra in case, you know, this isn't enough. So I'm just really just kind of flatten the dough out a little bit and press it in. And they like their crust a little bit on the thin side, so I just stretch it out really well. I have my pizza dough all set, and my bacon is all done. I don't get it overly crispy because it is going to brown a little more while it's on the pizza, so you know, it'll get even crispier. It took about 15 minutes, and I have my oven heated to 400 degrees. I'm going to pre-bake my crust for about 10 minutes, and that way the toppings won't get done before the bottom of the crust. So that's a really important step when making homemade pizzas, to pre-bake the crust for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to pop those in the oven. While my crust is pre-baking, I got the toppings ready. So I have olive oil, some oregano, I chopped some fresh basil. I don't really have measurements. I'm gonna kind of show you how much I use. I have about 8 ounces or so of shredded mozzarella cheese. I just got done shredding all of it, and there was like 16 ounces, so I have some extra there. And then I have some finely shredded mozzarella cheese. And then I'm going to mince some garlic. I have 3 cloves of garlic here. These are my pizza crusts after 10 minutes. So they're just pre-baked. They're a little bit crispy, but they aren't all the way done. I just chopped my bacon into pretty big pieces. That's just the way they like it, and that way you can actually taste it. So I'm going to go ahead and top my pizzas, and I really don't have a recipe for this, but I will show you what I do. So for each one, I am going to brush it with some olive oil first. I don't really have a recipe, but I have made these a few times, and I just kind of do what looks right, I guess. So I just drizzle some olive oil on each one and then brush it around. And that kind of was a lot. I was pouring it looking through the camera lens, but it will be fine. And just brush that around. And that is going to get the crust nice and crispy. And then I usually do some of the garlic. And again, I don't really measure, but it's going to cook, so it's not going to be like raw garlic. It's not going to be incredibly strong. Just kind of spread that out a little bit. And then I'm going to top it with the cheeses, so the mozzarella and the Parmesan. You guys love these. They all were happy when I told them what we were having for dinner. And you can use, of course, as much or as little as you like. And a little bit of the Parmesan cheese. It's all sticking together. Okay, and then I have oregano and basil, and I'm going to do a little bit of salt and pepper just for some extra seasonings. And you could use as much or as little as you want of the basil and oregano. And I'm just going to sprinkle some oregano, salt, and pepper on there. And then I just added some of the chopped bacon. So that's about what each of them is going to look like before I pop it in the oven. Okay, here are all 4 of my pizzas, and I'm going to put them in the 400-degree oven and bake them until the cheese is nice and melted and, you know, the crust is really crispy. I don't know, probably like 15 minutes, I would say. Here are the pizzas after 15 minutes, and they turned out just the way my guys like them. They like them a little bit crispy. So I'm going to let them cool just for a few minutes before I cut them. Today is Wednesday and I made my Mexican lasagna. I have this recorded as a slow cooker recipe. I just made it in the oven in a 13 by 9 baking dish, the same ingredients and everything. I did leave out the meat to make it a meatless meal, and I just added corn to it, but it's great with the meat as well. I have avocado with mine and cilantro lime rice. I have the cilantro lime rice recipe recorded as well, and I will put the link below. Today is Thursday, and doesn't this look so yummy? We are having my pineapple chicken kebabs and my Hawaiian rice. I have these recorded in one video, and I will link it below, but it's something a little bit different and so good. And then for the sugar snap peas, I just sauteed them in some olive oil, and then I added the garlic the last minute and sauteed them until, you know, everything was cooked and the sugar snap peas were a little bit tender. So that's a whole meal if you're looking for something to try. The recipe will be linked below.